Cross-platform in gaming. If you haven't heard of this before, it's basically when any system can play with any system as long as you're sharing the same game. So let's say PC, PS4, and Xbox are all playing Overwatch. They can all play together no matter the system that they're playing from. Also, GameLeap is the sponsor of this video, and make sure you stick around to the very end so that you can see what all they have to offer. And you see this already starting to be experimented with in games like Rocket League, which came out a few years ago, and even Fortnite as of recent. You can see your PC playing with some of the console players. But we don't have this in Overwatch, and you know what? Many first-person shooters. Almost all of them. It's very rare to see a game that does have cross-platform. So most of the battles are between Sony behind PlayStation and Microsoft behind Xbox. Most of the battles are between them. Xbox is basically saying that they do want to enable cross-platform play, and Sony is kind of like, we don't really want to do it, we think it might be bad for business. Of course, the community hates hearing that from Sony, and PC is kind of like the fringe over here. No one is really the voice behind PC, it's basically more developers, and if anybody, Windows, so I guess Microsoft? The thing we all want to hear, because it's just such beautiful headlines, is you can play any game with your friends. Let's bring the rest of this video down to Overwatch. You can play Overwatch with your friends. They don't have to have a PC. They don't have to have an Xbox. They don't have a PS4. They can play whatever system they want, and you guys are going to be able to connect and play together. Doesn't that sound fantastic? Well, it does. But is it really though? Guys, I think the answer is no. You see, I'm all for cross-platform play in just about every single game. For me, series that really touch my heart and franchises like Call of Duty that I've been a big fan of for a while, but there are struggling player bases on PC, I would really like to be able to connect to the Xbox or the PlayStation servers so I can play game modes again besides Team Deathmatch, besides the same 8 people. But there's a reason people are so hesitant to let PC players play with consoles. It's because of the controller. You see, the controller is holding you back. It's like the Achilles heel of the console. It's great in making everything simple. Consoles are made for casual players after all. They keep things simple, but they're not at all good for competitive gaming. The controller limits your ability to play. Let's go ahead and take a closer look. Okay, so when you're playing mouse and keyboard, you're usually having your fingers on WASD, which is your way to move, and you have your mouse, which has a complete full range of motion. Nothing is ever going to stop your motion unless you run out of desk space. So then you have the controller. So you still do the same thing with your left hand, but this time you use the controller is obviously held with 2 hands. You use the left analog stick to walk around. You push it in to run. And, well, I guess if you're playing Call of Duty, that is. And then you use the right analog stick to aim. So let's look at the problem. On PC, to aim, you have free range of motion, or until you run out of desk space. But this is a lot of room. On Xbox, on PS4 even, anything with a console controller, you are automatically locked after moving this like an inch, not even. The fact that you are limited to the way you can aim means so much, and it is such a detriment to your skill. When you're playing on PC and you can move like the actual, in real life, you can move the mouse, the actual distance you're moving the cursor in game, it has such a great feel to it mentally, and it is so good for building muscle memory. Versus on console, when you're using a controller, the analog stick can never like simulate what it actually feels like to turn, while PC somewhat gets close. And again, so this is why I prefer using the Xbox controller as a mouse and keyboard. So essentially, even though it sounds good on paper that you should be able to play with your friends, you might realize that the game is going to get a lot harder, making it so that you're not having as much fun. If you really don't care about getting stomped, as if you're using a controller and everyone else is using the mouse and keyboard, if you don't care about getting stomped, I guess it's really not a big deal. That's just the way you want to have fun and you're okay with it. Sure, it's cool. But most people still want to have a good gaming experience in-game. The fact that they are actually able to win and not losing every engagement with an enemy, some people will actually want to win the game. So this brings us to the golden question. Why exactly do we have to use this, and why hasn't Microsoft or Sony made some sort of extension for their consoles? Like Sony, why haven't you made a mouse and keyboard for your PlayStation? Microsoft, same to you for your Xbox. Can you be way ahead of the game and allow cross-platform play for the shooters such as Overwatch, but let your customers buy? You're going to be making money. Let people plug in the mouse and keyboard. It is actually such a better way of gaming. And look guys, I'm not some sort of PC elitist, it's just that I grew up playing console, and then the last 4 years of my life I've been playing PC. play PC. You have so many more options to play the way you want to play, and you are no longer limited by these stupid, and as me, a competitive gamer, I don't really play casually all that often. The closest I can get to playing casual is playing Bloodborne on the PS4. That's as close as I can get. These joysticks are terrible for aiming. This is not the way to play FPS or any shooter game. I guess third person, like games like Gears of War, I guess it's okay. But even then, I could see that feeling so much better on PC. So the really important thing to take away from this video, besides the fact that I really need a haircut, is that if there is cross-platform play where PC players in Overwatch, if PC players can play with console players are gonna get smashed. The free range of movement that PC players have just because of mouse and keyboard is such a significant advantage over console players using a controller. It's just really not a fair game at all. And again, like we said, a lot of these problems will just vanish if console developers will actually make some sort of mouse and keyboard combo that can plug into the consoles. There's really no reason not to do that, but they haven't done it. I bet they don't do it because they're scared that people will start to realize that mouse and keyboard feels so much better when you're playing a game, and that they're scared people will start buying PC parts and building PCs instead of buying their consoles for the next generation. I bet that's why they don't do it, actually. So guys, cross-platform play is a fantastic idea in so many games, and debatably, maybe in quick play it's cool in Overwatch, but still, when it comes to competitive gaming, this is going to hold you back, and the only way to make this a fair fight is making PC players use controllers or console players use mouse and keyboards. It's the only way to make this okay. And so now, still speaking of Overwatch, let's go ahead and look at GameLeap, the sponsor of this video. GameLeap is a website that was built to show you how to get better at Overwatch. All of the videos on GameLeap were created by some of the highest ranking players in the world, with some of them even being recognizable figures like Evil Toaster, Brandito, Little Menace, and there are many other pros. All you need to do is just make an account and then pick what heroes you'd like to get better at, so then you can start seeing the specific guides for them. There's a lot of free content on the website, so you can go right now and start watching away. And there are premium subscriptions, and you can get little trials of the videos so you know what you're buying. And I highly recommend you to get a GameLeap subscription. It costs about the same as a Twitch sub, but you get a lot more value in return. This is your chance to use code Nateson and get 25% off of your subscription. So go ahead, check out GameLeap, click on the A that's on the video right now, and it will take you right over. GameLeap is always working to make more guides, so you don't ever have to worry about running out of videos. Have a good night, everybody. Take care.